Okay, you guys, back at it with another small video about this Dell Precision 5540, on which I was able to install macOS Ventura. So I wanted to report my findings and to share the EFI, because it was quite a painful process to build the EFI, and at least if you find this video, you don't have to redo all the process again. So as you can see, we are running an Intel Core i7 9th gen CPU, 2.6 GHz. It's running off the iGPU, the Intel 630. This laptop has got a T2000 NVIDIA Quadro graphics card, but of course there are no drivers for macOS, so you are stuck with the Intel UHD. 16 gigs of RAM and running Ventura 13.2.1, which is the latest as of now. The built-in display is the 1080p display, and then we have the external one, which is connected through a USB-C hub here on the side, just to show that it also works. It doesn't work super reliably, the USB-C hub. This is not a Thunderbolt hub, so I wouldn't know about Thunderbolt hubs, but it does work. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky, but 90% of the time it works well. Also, the most eagle-eye viewers among you will have seen that this is not the original display of the 5540, because the webcam there is on the bottom, and that's because I replaced the screen with the older generation one, because it was cheaper and the connector was the same. So that's that. This is the display from the 5530 or the XPS 9570, which is the same, which is to say the same. And but the computer is the PC itself is a 5540. Okay, then how did I do it? So basically this came with Windows pre-installed, so I just split the main the boot drive in half. So we have Windows with 256 gigabytes and macOS with the other 256 gigabytes there. So yes. Then speaking about things that actually work, basically almost everything works. We have Wi-Fi, which is with an Intel card. I had to switch that because the original killer card won't work. So this is an Intel 9260, and it works just fine. Personal hotspot won't work, and because this is not an original Apple card, so if you want to have a personal hotspot working and also airdrop, which here shows blue but won't work, you have to buy an original Apple card, which is a Broadcom chipset, and but I couldn't be bothered, and I already had this 9260 around, so I just put this one in. But Wi-Fi is good enough, I would say. It's not perfect, it's not as fast as it would be on Windows, but it works. Also, half of the time I use it with the this USB-C hub connected, so which has got an Ethernet port on the back, so I just use the Ethernet off there, and in that sense it works very well. Bluetooth works well. I usually use this on the stand with the Magic keyboard and trackpad, and it works perfectly. Display of course works well. This also came with a 4K display, and 4K IPS, I know it works. The 4K OLED, I've seen there are some problems, but I wouldn't know about that because I don't have it. Sound also works perfectly, and well, about the power management, it's quite well. I have a little bit of undervolt on this computer, set through voltage shift. Of course, this is not going to be a video where I explain how to do it. The voltage shift kext is already inside the EFI. Then you need to program the undervolt to your liking, but there are guides for that on the internet, or just on the GitHub page of voltage shift. You have also to unlock the configuration lock and to disable the undervolt protection, but also there are guides for that on Reddit and on the internet. It's not mandatory to do it, it's just it gives you a little bit better temps. Also, it's worth considering that the GPU is disabled because of course it doesn't work here, so the temperatures you're going to see will be better than on Windows no matter what. As I said, the package power is quite low. The power management is rather good. This now sits at 280 because it's connected to the USB-C dock, but usually it's around 1 watt, 1 watt and a half, 1.5 watts, and so it's good. Temperatures also, well, again, now it's going to be a little bit higher because it's connected to the second display. And but it's usually quite good. Also, another thing I've found is that, and by the way, there are also the gestures that works perfectly on the trackpad there. Another thing that something that also helps with temperatures, you know, the XPS 15 is a bit rich about temperatures, is to set the to disable the turbo boost. I have it disabled in BIOS, but you can also use this up here to disable it. And because mainly, well, when I need to use the turbo boost, I just enable it manually, typically. You can also use Mac fan control to make if you want to set the fans to the maximum. Basically, it doesn't work to set a precise RPM, but you can set them to maximum, and they will just switch. You see there, and hopefully you can also hear it. We switch to the maximum of frequency, or you can go back to automatic and you will switch to the automatic setting that Dell has put in. Okay. Other things that I wanted to show you, well, this machine is dual booted with Windows, so there is that. I can show you. Basically, to boot it in Windows, you can either select it from the bootpicker of Opencore, which I have disabled for cosmetic reasons, and or you can just reboot it from here, and this works like a MacBook would work. You just hit restart there, and then it restarts in Windows. I will now disconnect the external display because it's useless for now. I won't show you anything more. It was just to show you that it can work with the USB-C hub, or you can use the HDMI out also. One thing to know, which is good to know, in the BIOS you should maybe put the Thunderbolt mode of the USB-C port to BIOS assist and not to enumeration, because it's not the native mode. Sorry, the native mode is not very much compatible with macOS. But if you put it in yes, you can change just. But if you put it in BIOS assist, it will work better. It should also work better for power management, theoretically. So this is, well, your basic Windows installation. I don't use Windows for much, maybe for some games and for some other things. One thing I managed to install is the bootcamp utilities here, which is useful if you have, this is in Spanish, sorry, I like languages, so the computer is half in English, half in Spanish, half in Italian. If you use the Apple keyboard here, basically you can use the top row with, if you install the bootcamp drivers. I will link those in the description because it's a bit of a pain to get them otherwise. And you just have to run the bootcamp MSI as administrator to install them, and then you have the drivers for the trackpad, the keyboard, and for the top row of the keyboard, which is quite useful if you want to use that. Also, it's convenient because if you want to reboot back to macOS, you just click here and it will reboot. Again, not much to show in Windows here because this is just a normal Windows installation. This is after all a Windows 11 laptop, so it works just well in Windows. Booting is also, I would say, quite fast. Of course, it would be because it's an NVMe, drive, so it doesn't take a lot of time, and now you will see it. One thing I was not able to enable is file vault, probably because this is a dual boot setup, so it would crash. So don't enable file vault if you have a dual boot setup on this laptop, because then it won't start again. Learn that the hard way. And then you can just, of course, put in your password. Of course, the touch, this has got here a touch ID sensor, but it won't work because it will never be compatible with Apple, with macOS. Okay, and then we are back at it. I think now probably, okay, let's close AdGuard. Probably the power, the package power will be a little bit lower when it settles back down to idle, because there is no external display connected. Yes, actually you can already see it. It's going down to 190, 1.7, 2.4. It's quite good. Also, if you have the 90 watt-hours battery, I think it could last up to 10 hours, maybe, on light work, of course. And well, and that's it. That's pretty much concludes it from what I wanted to say. So this is the result of, and now I think around about 1 month of work, because it was a bit long to set up all as it should work. Also, if you have a backup of Time Machine, and you can just import, you can of course make backups here to external drives, but you can also just import it when you install the macOS, which is quite useful if you have already a laptop set up with macOS. And let's conclude it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and well, happy Hackintoshing.